Greetings all, welcome to week 5 of English 102. I want to talk about what we're going to do this week and what I've been doing with regard to the essays you submitted at the end of last week. So first, for the essays from last week, I'm about halfway through them. I'm reading, responding, giving commentary. Initially, they were one of the few sorts of assignments that I gave actual traditional grades to, using a rubric and attaching points to that rubric. And I decided, I've never liked that. And so I decided I wasn't going to do that. And because the rest of the work is essentially some variation on what is called labor-based grading. Basically, you do the work and you get the grade. I decided to shift my focus for this assignment to labor-based grading as well. And so what that means, and basically everybody submitted their essay, there might be one or two that are outstanding, is that I always, in the past, have required 3 drafts for my English 101 students. And so the first draft is the draft you shared with your peers and gave and received feedback on. The second draft is the one I'm reading now. And the third draft will be the one you do revise, basically based on my comments. And so I decided to do a labor-based approach to grading on this assignment. So what that means is that pretty much all of you, everybody who has submitted, at least that I've read so far, has submitted what would be considered a complete draft. And if I was to give it that traditional grade, they'd be, kind of all over the map. I mean, there's a lot of variation. So what I've decided, though, in the labor-based approach is basically you've submitted the essay, so you've met the absolute minimum standard. And so in terms of grades, I decided, okay, I'm going to give complete drafts a 65. And that may not seem very high. In many ways, it's not, out of 100. And so when you do the revision based on my comments, then you will get the remaining 35 points, assuming you hit on everything that I'm asking you to hit on. If you leave out something significant, I might send it back for more revision, but I want to basically have an approach where you do the necessary kind of work to be better writers and then get rewarded for that, as opposed to a somewhat arbitrary me imposing a particular aesthetic, I don't know if that's the right word, on your writing. So anyway, this kind of takes a lot of my biases out of it, and if you do the work, then you'll get a good grade kind of thing. So I think it's kind of the best, the fairest way to grade, and I don't impose too much of my thinking, I don't know if that's the right word, my preference for what is good writing and what is not, I guess, on each of you. But by the same token, I am asking for pretty standard, good college level writing and research. So I think it's a good, fair way to give you a good grade and have you not do too much work, and hopefully it lessens the anxiety. I hope you don't have any problems with that. You can let me know if you do, but I think it's generally the fairest approach to grading, and it is, I think, less arbitrary in that if you do X, I give you Y kind of things. It would have been better if I mentioned this early on, but since the rest of the class is done this way, I think it's better for me to bring these assignments in line with the other assignments and how I grade those, as opposed to having these be graded differently. So generally speaking, overall, it should result in better grades for pretty much everybody who does the work. So there's that. So again, if you got concerns, let me know, but this should work in your favor. Part of it is, part of the thinking behind it is that if students get poor grades on their early assignments, they tend to continue getting poor grades. And if they get good grades on their early assignments, they continue getting good grades. And in both instances, students don't respond to the commentary. There's a vast body of research that shows this. And so I'm more interested in helping you grow as writers than labeling each and every one of you as a good, bad, or indifferent writer through the grading process. So there is good scholarship and logic behind it, and there's a good more that I'm not going to touch on. But if you really want to know, I'll provide you links to that information. So that's those essays and the grades there. I really like you to have your revised. So this week we've got 3 tasks due. The 5 problems that you'll be looking at and speculating on for tonight due. Defining your problem. Let me make sure that I've got that, because I don't like the way. Yeah, so you're going to do a little bit of looking at the topic to get a little bit of information about it and sort of see what you come up with. You won't have a particular definition of your problem that is nailed down at this point, but that's okay. That's due at midnight Wednesday. And midnight Friday is sort of an explanation of the exigence of the problem, the importance of the problem. In earlier, I think, materials I've and probably said that exigence is defined as the imperfection in search of a solution. I don't like that definition, but basically I want you to think about what's the problem you want to examine. Will you come up with a solution? Maybe, but we're not going to worry about that too much. But still, whatever it is you address, and looking at your 5 problems for Monday and those I've read already, you've hit on a number of things that are open for evaluation, for discussion, for improving upon, kind of thing. So, so definitely, there's, I don't think we'll solve any big problems here. But you'll, like the research essay said, you'll learn about them and figure out what you want to look into maybe further on down the road. Again, none of these exercises for this week are going to, you don't have to, you're not stuck with them. You can change your mind, you can change your direction, that sort of thing. So don't think you're getting hemmed in. We want to have that kind of flexibility as we move through this process here. So keep that in mind as you go forward. And so really, I think that's it. So change the grading approach for the first submission from last week. It should basically be in everybody's favor, and I do mean everybody, and it should foster learning and improved writing. So that's what we really want more than anything else. Also, I hate having to grade papers, and it's just too counterproductive. And also, we are working on our steps for what is going to be rolled into a project proposal. That project proposal, all rolled together, will be the pieces of what we're working on now. That'll come due next week. But for now, work on the 3 tasks for this week, and that'll be good. And also, once I get the commented essays all done, I will give you, I'll look at the schedule and what's coming due and give you a due date for those revisions that hopefully don't overload you in any way. I'll do my best to avoid that. So that is it for now. Take care. Get in touch if you have any questions, and have a good week. Bye-bye. Oops.